Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday morning. It's your real estate professor, Andrea Wilson here. This morning, as like every Monday morning at 7 a.m., you can catch me here live. I'd like to give your Monday morning market update for the week. And I talk about various topics, whether it's traditional buyer or seller or real estate investor tips right here every Monday morning. Today, we are going to be looking at where we're at in the market so far for the month of August. I am also going to share with you our latest update as to what's going on in the marketplace. There's some changes that are going to happen in the mortgage world on September 1st. I want to share how that can impact you guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about this inventory situation that we have going on here, where we're at with that. And then I'm going to talk about a term that comes up oftentimes in a real estate transaction, which is contingencies. So there we have it. And if you guys have any questions as I'm going through any of this, please feel free to type it in the chat and I will answer those questions as I go along. So I'm going to share my screen this morning with you guys. All right, so you should see my screen. All right, guys, so here we are, August 17, 2020. This year is flying by, even with everything that has been going on. We have just been moving forward throughout the year. And so when we started out, I would say the beginning of March, we had already hit the home buying season, and the COVID-19 slowed down the sales for us just a little bit. There was still quite a bit of movement during that whole quarantine period. So things were definitely moving. It just kind of stabilized the pace as we had seen a increase throughout the whole there was this projected incline to happen, and that kind of slowed down the momentum just a little bit. But across the country, we are dealing with the same situation, and that is with low inventory. So there's several things that play a factor as to why the inventory, long before COVID-19, we had inventory issues coming on the rise. And so now we finally are in a place where, it's greatly impacted. Buyers are starting to get a little frustrated because they're putting in multiple offers on properties and they're losing out on those properties. And so we're starting to see a lot of things happen. You have to realize, though, from a seller's standpoint, when an offer is presented to them, they're going to pick the offer that is most likely to close. And not to say that the other ones won't close, but the one with the least amount of contingencies in there. We're going to talk about that word contingencies in a little bit. And so usually it's the person that can close the quickest with the quickest form of money, which is cash. And then the next thing after cash, we're going to look at a conventional loan, because that conventional loan identifies a little stronger buyer in terms of credit worthiness. And then we're going to look at those other offers that come in, FHA, VA, those government-backed loans that tend to have a little bit more contingencies in those offers. So if you are one of those buyers and you have a FHA loan, you might be feeling the burn a little bit more and getting a little bit more frustrated. But there are some things that you can do for you to help win that offer. So first, let's take a look at the August numbers. So right now, the number of home sales right here in Cuyahoga County, we are so far for the month of August just sitting around 756. We are coming off of the weekend, so I know some things probably have not closed out yet. So we are making nice progress here. And so the average sale price has gone up since the last time that I ran this report in July and shared with you guys. So we went from in the 190s. Now that average sale price now is sitting around 212,000 throughout the county. Number of new listings so far for the month is 1,120. I'm glad to see that, homes are still coming on the market because we so desperately need inventory. And I have to say, looking at the market, looking in our multiple listing service, I have noticed some more inventory coming on. But in this market, you want to make sure that you are getting out, taking a look at those homes right away. As soon as you see something that you like, you can't wait a week to see it. You want to get out there, keep it on your list, take it off your list, make a decision on that home. And so the average days on market is sitting at 44 days on market. This actually dropped from the last time as well, by like 10 days on the market. When I ran this before, we were right at about 55 days. Now we're down to about 44 days. And these are the homes that people, when you go in and you're like, you're still undecided on those homes. The homes that are been well taken care of, completely remodeled, we're actually seeing that those homes are going as quick as, 8 hours, 24 hours of being on the market. It almost seems like when they come on the market, they already are under contract. So this is something to think about when you're writing that offer. You want to make sure that you are submitting an offer that is your highest and best right out the gate. Don't expect a seller to come back to give you another opportunity to play your best hand. It's not that kind of market. If it's a home that you really, really like and you feel like you have to have it, then you want to go in with your best offer right out the gate instead of holding off and waiting to do that. So go over to, so there is going to be a new Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac rule changes September 1st, 2020. And these are going to be like your government-backed loans. So what does it mean to you? All right, so we're going to talk about this whole inventory situation just a little bit longer, right? So how do we get out of this low inventory situation? Well, one thing that helps out the market with the low inventory is new construction. So new construction homes during the last few years, as the market had like declined, new construction, a lot of builders had slowed down with production of homes, which now that we fast forward has caused a problem or helped with the problem with this inventory, about not enough inventory. So what happens is, when you think about how people just move up naturally in life, you have a starter home, then you may have expanded on your family, so then you decide to move up into another home, and so on and so on. So then you have families that are living in a home that will decide to go new construction, which this whole pattern, as things flow, you got to think of it as like a conveyor belt. Things are moving along, you get to the conveyor belt. Well, when there's a kink or something, a break in the machine, then that bottlenecks the rest of, or everything that's coming behind it. So with the low production of new construction homes, there was no place for a lot of potential buyers, to move up into that new construction. So one of the things that needs to happen right now is new construction has picked back up. But now we're running into another situation with new construction, and that is because of COVID-19, the lumber is back ordered. Production is just back ordered across the board. So it's slowing down production on new construction homes. But we need those new construction homes to come into the market to free up existing homes that are already on the market. We'll get more people into that new construction homes, and it will start to free up the market for other individuals that are looking in the marketplace. So that's one way. The problem is, as you all have been hearing, that interest rates are really, really low, right? So they are not only low just on the purchase side, they are really low on the refinance side. So you have potential sellers who are in the marketplace who may have been considering, buying another home, but the interest rates, because we just came through COVID, people are starting to kind of revisit or just reprioritize their lives and maybe starting to decide that, hey, maybe we don't need that extra space. Maybe we'll just stay right here. And the fact that the interest rates are so low on a refinance, they are deciding to stay in their home instead of selling the home. When we, as real estate agents and buyers out here in the marketplace, we need your inventory. But because the interest rates are so low, people are making the financial decision to just go ahead and stay in their home instead of taking on any new potential debt that's out there. So what will happen is with this new Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac rule, it is supposed to take effect September 1st. So what happens is they are planning to do a 0.5% on your refinance. So what happened when they impose this new fee, on average, they're saying that it's going to cost the average buyer about $1,400 more than normal. And you might be like, well, $1,400 is not a lot of money. But when you think about all the other fees and people are just kind of weighing their options, they are thinking that this is going to be enough to sway people from going the refinance route over to a purchase route. So this does two things. On the plus, it will hopefully move the needle a little bit more and get people off of wanting to do the refinance and deciding to move up or buy another home, which will then bring more inventory to the market. On the downside to it, there's a number of families who need to do that refinance to free up some income or make just things more affordable, or, they're really struggling paying their mortgage payment. And so that refinance could help them lower their monthly payment so they can afford it a little better. But when you impose this type of fee, it may have a negative impact on those individuals. So pros and cons, right? So we could potentially have more inventory coming to the market. On the other side, it may impact potential families that are really in dire need to reduce monthly bills. So that's what it means to you. September 1st is when this is supposed to roll out. Those lenders are the ones, they are going to take that impact from this imposed fee that they have. And of course, those lenders are going to then roll those out to their customers. And you'll start to see that when you try to refinance. So coming down the pipeline, I will update you as we get a little closer to this and I get more details on that. So one of the questions that I'm always getting still to this day, is it a good time to buy? So, like I was just saying, the interest rates are really, really low. So because the interest rates are really low, it really does make a good time to buy. But I will say that you need to have just a little bit of patience, definitely depending on what price point you are in, because it's taken a little bit longer for some families to really secure a property that they really want to move forward with, especially if you have a laundry list of must-haves and that perfect home that you're looking for. It may take you a lot longer to do that. You can consider new construction as well. Even as a first-time home buyer, you can think about building a new construction home that will have everything that you need. There's a lot of tract builders. Your tract builders are going to be like your Ryan Homes, your Pulte's, your Drees Homes, where they already have the floor plans and the designs all laid out, and you get to go in and customize that with the options that you choose to make it more like your style of or flow of what you need for you and your family. So they are still building out there. When you start to go custom builders, that is another option for you guys. The custom builders tend to be a little bit more. And the reason is the tract builders, like your Ryans, they're going out and they're buying lots in bulk, right? So they have acreage that they are purchasing versus you having to go out and buy one single lot, which tends to be a little bit more costly than when you go with these other builders because they can divide up into lots. So I'm going to say right now, it definitely is a good time to buy. You just got to have a little bit more patience. Part of your planning process, if you are renting currently and you know that your lease is going to be up in a couple months, you might want to start that process just a little bit sooner when you go out trying to look for that home to make sure that you have enough time. Also, talk to your landlord, see what your options are. So if your lease is going to expire within a couple months, will your landlord allow you to become a month-to-month tenant? What does that look like? Will they have an increase? Sometimes they will allow you to do that, but there may be an increase in your monthly rent. So you want to make sure that you kind of inquire, see what the stipulations are, what can you do, get feedback from your landlord. That is a great thing to do as well. So if you are someone that is thinking about refinancing, you probably want to get that going right away, definitely before September 1st. So you don't get hit with those fees. After September 1st, you may have to weigh those, look at the bottom line, look at those numbers a little bit more to determine if that's right for you. So yes, it is a good time to buy. All right, so the real estate term that I want to go over with you guys today is contingencies. So this is such an important term for you to understand. It is in basically every contract that is out there. You may not even realize that because your real estate agent may have just handled it. The general contract that is used already comes with some contingencies built into it. And I think oftentimes as real estate agents, we're just used to doing this on a daily basis that we just kind of we can't overlook explaining this very well to you. So some common contingencies in the transaction is going to be financing, right? So you put an offer in on a property. And so say that, you did your initial loan application, and then for whatever reason, the underwriter comes back and says, nope, we can't do the loan at this time. Well, you don't want to be stuck or lose your earnest money that you put up because your financing could not go through. And these are things oftentimes you didn't know. You didn't know until you got to a certain place in the transaction that it was going to fall apart like it does. So in most of the contracts, it will have a contingency that's already built into it that if the financing falls apart, then you will not be liable for the purchase of the property. You will get your earnest money back in there. So that's something to really know. You do want to be aware though that there's usually a time frame. So in that contract, there's a time frame in there that you have to get paperwork and get a loan commitment from your loan officer. So when it starts to go past those periods of times, you could potentially lose out on any earnest money in there. So that's something to know. Another big contingency that's in the contract is going to be for your inspections. So whenever you opt in to have an inspection, a general home inspection, your radon inspection, pest, mold, whatever it is, whatever type of inspection that you have, when you say yes, you opt in for that, you have a certain period of time to have those inspections done. Typically anywhere between 7 to 10 days on average is the time frame when you can have those inspections done. As long as you opted in and say, yes, I want to have a home inspection done, any of those inspections done, then there's a contingency period that's in there. So say the home inspector comes out, they find that, the foundation is cracked. You can back out of that contract without having to worry about losing that earnest money or anything else that could come with that. So sometimes people will opt out of a home inspection. I always recommend that you at least consider doing at least the general home inspection. And then, if you decide not to have one from there, then, that's fine. because a home inspection is not required. So just so you know, some people think that a home inspection is required. It is not required. It is up to you as a buyer if you want to have this. It's definitely recommended because you just never know. And when I say a home inspection, not your uncle that's a contractor, not your dad that used to do construction work. You want to hire a outside party. You're looking on average around $350. It can go up if it's a larger square footage, but we'll just say on average about $350 to have that home inspection done. So this is something that with that contingency, it allows you a way, an exit strategy from that contract in case something goes wrong on there. So in terms of all of the other inspections on there, the second most common I would say would be your radon inspection. So that is another one that you could actually put out there. So the another contingency that you can also do that's written into or that you want to put into the contract is if you're buying a investment property, we see this oftentimes that there's tenants living in the property, and sometimes in those properties the owner does not want to disrupt the tenants that are living in there. And so because of this, they may want you to write a contract without even seeing the inside of it. And so the way around this is to write a contract contingency saying that you don't want to, that the offer is contingent upon seeing the inside of the property. So you would write up the contract, we would get it accepted, and then at that point, we would be able to get an appointment set for you to do an actual walkthrough of the property. So I know that sounds a little backwards because you haven't seen the property yet to know if you really want it, but hopefully you can rely on pictures initially and other data that might be out there. And then once you go through a walkthrough of the property, have your inspectors there and everything, then you can make that decision and you will be able to back out of that contract based on that contingency that's in there. So sometimes people get a little nervous, like, am I moving too fast, especially in this market because there is such low inventory and homes are going so quick that they start to have like buyer's remorse, so to speak, and just second guess themselves. So they write the contract. Is this the one? I don't know if this is the one or not. So just remember that you do have some contingencies that are in that contract that will help you get out of it without you having any negative recourse against you. So very important to know, make sure that you talk to your agent, find out from them what contingencies that are in there. Make sure that you're a part of that or requesting those contingencies that are in there. Also, a lot of the cities have point of sale inspections and where the inspection has not been completed yet. So you want to make sure that you are that you write a contingency in there for you to be able to see that point of sale report. So, hey, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and type it in the chat. You can even respond and leave a message, and I will respond back to you later if you are watching the replay of this. And if you are not already, go ahead and like or subscribe to my channel. I like to provide you with relevant real estate information, whether it's buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Right here on Facebook or YouTube. You can find me on either channel, always providing great information, tools, tips, and information for you guys. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you found this information helpful to you. I'll continue to jump on here and provide you with information. And as I receive updates in the real estate market, I will definitely share with you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Have a good day, guys.